So earlier in the day, you had a chance to experience into literature from a student's perspective. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the program and how it will support you implementing as a teacher. We're going to look at the instructional strategies. We're going to look at using the resources that's going to help you teach this program to your students. Let's take a look at the framework that guides into literature, the instruction of into literature. So just by a show of hands, who is familiar with the gradual release model as you see it here? We'll do the four-finger rating again, so I'll hold up a 1 if this is a brand new concept to you. Hold up a 2 if this is something you've heard of, you've heard about it, but you've never used it in your classroom. Finally, hold up a 3 if you've read about it and you've tried it in your classroom. And then 4, of course, being the experts and you feel like you can explain it to others. So at this time, go ahead and hold up either a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, depending on your familiarity with the gradual release model. With our gradual release model, we have the I do, where it's whole group led, modeled, and shared instruction. Here we provide explicit instruction on a concept, and we support students in applying that concept, once again, in a whole group setting. Moving on, we go to the we do section, or guided application. With your guidance, under your guidance as a teacher, students collaborate, students support one another as they build towards proficiency. Moving on to the you do portion, or the independent practice part of the gradual release model, students here in the you do are demonstrating their proficiency by applying independent practice to what you've introduced in the I do portion. It's students' turn to show what they know in the you do model. Note that we have PLG pages up here, and we're going to go ahead and return to these to discuss how gradual release fits in to interliterature. And you as teachers, you might want to jot down some notes here as you go through the teaching and planning section. So in any classroom, learning is about so much more than the subject matter, right? Students come to our classrooms with a wide variety of needs and experiences. Interliterature consists of socio-emotional learning to equip students with skills, to set and achieve goals, solve problems, manage their emotions, and of course communicate in an effective manner. Students require aptitude with these social emotional skills in order to be cognitively available for learning, right? So I'm going to go ahead and provide an overview for some of the support that interliterature offers. Starting with collaborate and compare. In the collaborate and compare section, we guide students to read and annotate texts and to compare their responses in small group. Peer review. This is a critical part of students' creative process. Tools such as checklists for writing, speaking, and listening tasks, and the revision guide with questions for students. Tips and techniques that offer practical support for peer interaction. So making the most out of peer interaction time, your think, pair, and share time, your turn and talk, maximizing those learning opportunities. Speaking and listening. These tasks develop students' ability to listen actively, so active listening strategies, how to present effectively, expanding their vocabularies, questioning appropriately, and of course, engaging constructively. Last but certainly not least, the learning mindset. Now, in a learning mindset, in your teacher's edition, this is designed to help students develop perseverance about the learning process. Any obstacles they might face, learning mindset is helping them understand how they're thinking about their learning, their approach to learning, as it relates to when they run into obstacles and persevering through those obstacles. We have other resources for ongoing formative assessments, peer evaluation, and reflect on the unit questions that encourage students to monitor their own progress and to achieve the goals which they've set with you as a teacher. Planning our unit now. So each unit in our TE opens with an instructional overview, which you see here, and resources. These pages provide an overview of the unit and structure and will allow you to make the best instructional decisions for your students, right? So each unit includes comprehensive resources to support so many different instructional options, and you can flexibly choose the order of instruction and selections that work best for you as teachers in your classroom. So we're going to go ahead and turn to a unit in your TE. Some of you have your print teacher's edition with you. That's great. For those of you who do not, I'm going to have you pull it up digitally on your Ed, Your Friend in Learning. And I'd like for us to choose the same unit just so that we're all on the same page. We can talk about how to plan for this unit and some things to look for when you're planning. Okay. Once again, I see a PLG page number. So, for those of you who want a directive, want some more learning to reinforce what we're talking about, on PLG page 41, you will find that. So go ahead and turn to Unit 2 in your 6th grade book. How many days are planned for the unit? Which text is the mentor text? And finally, which text has a close read screencast? So feel free to read over the instructional overview, look at the resources that are available there, look at the suggested number of days for pacing, and come up with answers for all of these. And in a few moments, we're going to come together and we're going to come to an agreement on these. Thank you. That was about 5 minutes. So we were talking about the unit level before. Now, of course, we're getting a little closer to the street level. Now we're talking about an individual selection and a lesson here that you will plan for. We of course have planning resources at the selection level as well. Selection planning pages help provide you an overview of the critical elements of this text. You can use these pages to review key characteristics of the text genre. You can view clearly defined learning targets and objectives. You can select appropriate text for your students to match their levels, right? And provide scaffolding in support of comprehension. So these pages here for the selection level will help you determine the online support resources to assign for students. This will also help you generate interest in a selection. So if you want that student buy-in the beginning, this page here will help you achieve that. It's going to help you also structure student collaboration in your classroom for those small group learning routines. Teaching and supporting now, looking at the Ed, Your Friend in Learning experience. Note the similarities I talked about earlier. For those of you who are more print inclined, you have your print edition. But then for those of you who are maybe more digitally inclined, we have the same experience and more on Ed, Your Friend in Learning, which you can see here. So this is ideal for blended use. So on PLG page 44, you'll see a sample of the Teacher's Edition page with the Student Edition page in there as well, in the center, as well as the wraparound support on the side for you as a teacher. Okay. Let's take a look at how your online Teacher's Edition, accessed through Ed, Your Friend in Learning, presents your teaching supports. So both the online and print Teacher's Editions include an instructional wraparound support. There are guided prompts to help students apply reading and writing skills here. So you can also find tips for spurring deeper thought and engagement with the text. Furthermore, there are model answers to questions. So providing students with that model for how to respond to literature. You might even notice the Google Classroom share button, which is also available to you. For those of you who are using Google Classroom, you're comfortable with Google Classroom, this is your chance to find that interoperability between IntelliLiterature and the Ed, Your Friend in Learning and Google Classroom. So at the push of one button, you can send assignments from the system over to Google Classroom through that Google Share button. You can create an assignment, you can ask a question, make an announcement, or even create new materials through that function, that feature